You know, right now, as you're watching this, there's a silent, invisible war being fought. It's happening at a speed that no human can possibly comprehend. And the targets, well, they're our most critical systems. The power grid, your bank account, your medical records. Our entire digital world is just constantly under attack. But fighting back on our behalf is a new kind of protector, an invisible guardian. They are the AI guardians. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how they operate. And look, this isn't science fiction. Back in late 2025, a really nasty vulnerability, they called it React to Shell, started getting exploited by some very sophisticated attackers. This thing allowed them to run their own malicious code on AI web applications from anywhere in the world, and it was moving way too fast with way too much complexity for any human-led defense team to handle. It was a real wake-up call, a watershed moment that proved, yep, we are in a brand new era of cyber threats.
So if the problem is threats moving at machine speed, then the solution has to operate at machine speed, right? This is where we see the rise of this new class of autonomous defenders. They are our invisible guardians, and they're known as agentic AI.
Now, what's so fascinating here is the massive shift in thinking this represents. We're moving way beyond AI as just a passive tool that sits there and waits for us to tell it what to do. Agentic AI is a proactive collaborator. You give it a high-level goal, something like protect this network, and it figures out the how all by itself. It plans, it acts, and it learns, all with very little human guidance.
This comparison just lays it all out perfectly. Old-school antivirus, it was kind of like a security guard with a book of wanted posters. It could only catch threats it had already seen, malware with a known digital fingerprint or signature. But today's attackers use AI to create malware that literally changes its own code every few seconds. It has no fixed signature. And that's why agentic AI is more like a behavioral analyst. It doesn't care what a file looks like. It cares about what it does. If a process that's normally trusted suddenly does something weird, the AI flags it, neutralizing brand new, never-before-seen threats on the spot.
So how does this actually work in the real world? Well, it's this incredibly fast loop. First, the AI agent is always perceiving the environment, constantly monitoring the network for any little anomaly. The second it detects a threat, it sets its own sub-goals. Isolate it, analyze it, neutralize it. Then it picks the right tools for the job and takes action. Maybe it slices off a part of the network or starts feeding the attacker fake data to trick them. All of this happens in milliseconds. It's a war fought in the blink of an eye, long before a human technician even gets an alert on their screen.
But here's the crucial point, and this is where it gets a little scary. We aren't the only ones with these powerful tools. This innovation has kicked off a brand new invisible arms race. Because what happens when the attackers have AI too?
Okay, so on our side, the AI guardians are constantly working. They're in a state of what you call continual protective action. They're not just sitting around waiting for an attack. They preemptively patch weaknesses. They automatically apply stricter security rules if they sense danger, and they even rotate active services to create a moving target. It makes it incredibly difficult for an attacker to find any kind of stable foothold. This is our side of the chessboard.
And here's the other. A pretty stark warning from the UN Institute for Disarmament Research makes it crystal clear. The same powerful AI that protects us is being turned into a weapon. Commercial AI tools are dual use, which just means they can be easily repurposed by our adversaries. We are now officially locked in a perpetual high-speed arms race between their aggressor AIs and our defender AIs.
This completely shifts the entire philosophy of cybersecurity. The old goal of building some unhackable fortress, that's obsolete, because in a war between AIs, breaches are pretty much inevitable. The new goal is resilience. It's all about having a defensive AI that is so incredibly fast at detecting, isolating, and healing from an attack that the aggressor AI simply can't do damage fast enough to make it worth their while.
And this brings us to the final, and maybe the most important part of our whole explainer. We are handing over immense responsibility to these autonomous systems, so we have to ask the hard questions. Who is guarding our guardians, and what are the risks that we're accepting by doing this?
And the risks are significant. I mean, think about it. When an autonomous agent makes a mistake, who's responsible? Is it the developer, the user, the AI itself? These systems can also be vulnerable to totally new kinds of attacks, like data poisoning, where an attacker intentionally feeds the AI bad information to corrupt its decision-making. And if you have multiple AI agents working together, a simple communication failure could cascade into a total system failure. It all boils down to the core problem of trust. If we can't understand their decisions, how can we really, truly rely on them?
So, as we delegate more and more authority to these machines, we're forced to completely rethink our own role in all of this. What does meaningful human control actually mean when decisions are being made in microseconds? It's not about a human approving every single action anymore. It's about designing the systems, setting the rules of engagements, and having the wisdom to know when and how to step in.
And that leaves us with this final, really provocative question. We are building these systems to protect us because we are simply too slow to protect ourselves. But these systems are incredibly complex, and they will at some point fail in unexpected ways. So as we hand over the keys to our digital kingdom, the biggest challenge we face won't be technological. It's going to be one of governance, of ethics, and of accountability.